Hello and welcome to the 700 Club. For today's top headlines, let's go to the CBN News desk.
Gordon, President Trump doesn't want the Senate to give up on its efforts on health care. The president met with Republican senators and urged them to get the job done. Now it looks like they won't leave for summer recess until they vote on another health care plan. Gary Lane has the story.
President Trump summoned Republican senators to the White House for lunch. But instead of being served just chicken or steak, they received a stern presidential lecture on commitment.
For 7 years, you promised the American people that you would repeal Obamacare. People are hurting. Inaction is not an option. And frankly, I don't think we should leave town unless we have a health insurance plan, unless we can give our people great health care.
Senate rejection of the most recent health care proposal disappointed the president. And with a growing number of GOP senators now saying they won't vote for Obamacare repeal without a replacement, Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell is focusing in on new health care legislation. The new bill up for consideration is actually an old one, approved by the Senate in 2015, repealing Obamacare. It includes one major difference from the bill. For a new health care system that the Senate just rejected, senators will be able to offer changes.
Wide open for amendment. No matter what I offer as a substitute first, it's fully amendable.
But senators must first agree to let the new legislation come up for a vote. And the Hill reports a bold move for the new health care bill. $200 billion in funding to help states pay for Medicaid expansion. That might be enough to pick up several moderate Republican votes, but Senator Rand Paul says he'll oppose any bill that provides more big government programs and insurance company bailouts. He'd like to see insurance buying groups or co-ops established to reduce costs for consumers. And he believes President Trump has the legal authority to do it without Congress.
I think there's one enormous thing that President Trump can do on his own, and that is to let anybody in the country get out of the individual market where the death spiral is and get into an association so they can get better pricing.
McConnell says he expects senators to vote next week to consider the new health care bill.
We cannot keep the commitment we made to the American people to repeal and replace Obamacare unless we get on the bill.
And that means first letting the bill come up for a vote on the floor of the Senate.
Any senator who votes against starting debate is really telling America that you're fine with Obamacare. But being fine with Obamacare isn't an option for another reason, because it's gone. It's failed. It's not going to be around.
Gary Lane, CBN News.
Republicans and Democrats in Washington, along with people across the country, are offering their support for Arizona Republican Senator John McCain. The 80-year-old McCain has been diagnosed with one of the most aggressive forms of brain cancer, the same kind that killed Senator Ted Kennedy and Beau Biden, the son of former Vice President Joe Biden. President Trump tweeted, "Melania and I send our thoughts and prayers to Senator McCain, Cindy, and their entire family. Get well soon." And former President Barack Obama, who defeated McCain in the 2008 presidential election, tweeted, "John McCain is an American hero and one of the bravest fighters I've ever known," Obama tweeted last night. "Cancer doesn't know what it's up against. Give it hell, John." McCain's family and doctors are deliberating their next treatment options, which will likely include radiation and chemotherapy. This weekend, President Trump will preside over the commissioning of the Navy's newest nuclear-powered aircraft carrier, the USS Gerald R. Ford. National security correspondent Eric Rosales went aboard the ship and got a first-hand look at it, along with the daughter of former President Ford, Susan Ford Bales.
It's a ship like no other, the first of its kind, the most technically advanced warship ever built, and also the most expensive, costing $12.9 billion.
This was a swearing in of him as president.
But for Susan Bales, the daughter of the 38th President of the United States, she says being on the ship feels like being at home, because throughout it you can find tributes to her father, Gerald R. Ford.
For instance, the flag that is behind you all is the flag that sat on his side of the bed after he died. That's where my mother kept it. There are pieces of my dad everywhere, and there is a reason we did that. I mean, there's pictures of him in the gym playing golf, swimming, doing athletic things, and The whole point of it is so that the sailors can identify with him.
One of the items on board is a tribute room to Gerald R. Ford, which highlights the different stages of his life, from when he was an Eagle Scout as a young boy, to his days playing football, to his early days as a Navy sailor, to his presidency of the United States.
Everything that hits home to a sailor touches it home with us, and know that he was one of us and that he went through the same things that we're going to go through. So he's a huge part of this ship, and he lives in the bulkheads and in the walls.
As the ship gets ready, critical components like the electromagnetic catapults and the advanced arresting gear responsible for allowing planes to safely take off and land are still being tested.
With all new technology, there's risks, and that's why we're here, is to go out there and shake them down and make sure it's working right.
You can see and hear behind me preparations are taking place for Saturday's commissioning, a commissioning ceremony which will be attended by President Donald Trump. Thousands are expected to attend. Eric Rosales, CBN News, Norfolk, Virginia.
A breakthrough discovery on the Shroud of Turin could be evidence that it really is the burial cloth of Jesus Christ. Researchers from the Institute of Crystallography said they found signs of blood from whoever could have been wrapped in the shroud. And a researcher at the Institute says tiny particles on the linen fibers of the shroud recorded a scenario of great suffering. That's because of the types of substances found in the blood on the cloth. One expert says the new findings debunk the old claim that someone simply painted an image on the shroud. You can find out more about this story on cbnnews.com, including how the researchers used new technology to investigate the blood on the shroud.